Let's start the podcast.
I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
Recording is in progress. I'm Al Ducharme. That is my partner, Al Romas. And this is Two Al's, One Pod, the spinoff from the web series, The Two Dicks, 1950s Detectives. Check it out on YouTube. And I'm at home, as you can tell by the armoire that adorns my backdrop. And Al Romas is actually sailing across the Mediterranean, one of my favorite places to be on a cruise ship. He's day 7 and he's heading back to Barcelona where it all started. And then tomorrow he has a 10-hour flight. Let's check in. Al Romas, we're live, pre-recorded live. How you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing all right. I did 12 shows in the books. Got one more show after this pod in the theater tonight. And then, the 10-hour flight. We were talking before on American, where I have, I've been doing this icon all year and driving, so I have no status at all.
Which is docked in permanently in Miami.
Right.
So you're renting a car and you're driving, but you give up your status on the airlines.
Exactly. And then when you got a Barcelona to Miami flight and you're in 22H.
22I in the middle.
Triple H next to me.
Have you guys heard of Ozempic? Because this is a little too much.
It's like I used to have a friend who was a big guy, like maybe 400 pounds. And he said he would drive to the airport and always be like, I just think of the poor guy who's next. He doesn't even know it yet. He's having a good morning. He's kissing his wife. And he's going to sit next to me in my rolls. So I'm hoping I don't get him, but you never know on these things. 10 hours to Miami and then 2-hour layover, which is probably what I'll need, with the whole get the bag back, recheck everything through customs, immigration, and then 50 minutes to Tampa. So leave Barcelona 1:40 p.m. tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Back in Tampa 9:08 p.m. So with the time difference, 6 hours. Yes.
I'm not going to
find my mom to have sex with, though.
I said I'm not going to do Doc Brown. I'm not going to do Doc Brown from
Thank you.
the Future.
Yeah, it's not one of your top 4 impressions.
But
you know what I mean?
How many do you have?
I don't think I have any impression. Right. I don't think I have any.
That's why you put the extra load on me, so I have to
put the load right on me. Remember that song? That was a great one.
I remember doing that to my college girlfriend.
No, you right on her, you put the load right on you.
Yeah, she said, I want a pearl necklace. I've never had one. I'm like, I didn't even know she knew about that. I thought that was like a foreign thing.
Hawk Tua.
So there were no jewelry stores open.
Little Hawk Tua. Spit on that thing. That girl's got an agent now. She's at UTA.
She is. She has.
We've been
UTA
at this 30
infection.
years. We got nobody. She's with UTA.
I just realized how's my
UTA.
At a UTI. How's my sound? My mic was pushed off to the side the whole time.
Yeah, I can hear you.
God damn it!
I can hear you. I can hear you, man.
I know you could hear me, but we don't know how it's going to sound. I just wanted to do a little promo for the Awala. This is a canister thermos water bottle, hot and cold. It's got a built-in straw, so there's no extension straw. And it also has a gulp. This is the built-in straw. Yeah. And then it has a gulp. So I want them to be our new sponsor. And we're going to have to reach out to them. This is amazing. I know that you had the Stanley, right? Did you have the Stanley or the Yeti? Which one did you have?
The Yeti. I have the Yeti, and then I have another one with that straw thing. So I'll have to look which one I have. I might have the same one you have.
The built-in straw goes inward? So it's not sticking out like a little penis, flapping around going, suck me, baby, suck me.
Hak tua.
Hoo-ah! All right, we're getting disgusting.
It's so weird when it's just weird when you wake up in the morning and there's like a thing everyone knows already. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's this that thing swept the internet and the world within it seemed 3 hours.
Are you talking the
Everyone
one with the
knew of
girl who walks
the
up?
Haktua girl, the
Yeah,
Haktua girl.
yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing. Like how does that happen? Where you talk about viral. That was
Mhm.
viral. That was viral.
She spits on the dude's finger, right? Or his thumb or something.
Yeah, he's just doing a street interview. How do you keep
Pretending, yeah.
man? Yeah, how do you keep man happy in bed or something? You just got to Haktua, spit on that thing.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Do you have a
Which my
problem with
wife could
that? Do you
do
not agree,
during
do you
when she
not
had
agree with it?
COVID. When she had
Well,
COVID, she could do it very easily. There was a lot of that.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't know the wives. Doesn't seem like a wife thingy,
No, it isn't.
but no. And the girl, I think was a teacher. Did I hear she got fired?
Oh, how
Yeah,
did? But that's how she got the job in the beginning.
hey now, spitting on that 12-year-old thing. But she got an agent and she's selling merch. I saw she's selling hats and shirts, and people want to walk around with that on their head and their shirt. So yeah, so I have one more show, and then back to the USA. I was down there an hour ago. I watched. They had Boy George here. He was the celeb
Do you
entertainer for the
really
week.
wanna hurt
Mm-hmm.
me? Do you really wanna make me
Make me cry.
cry? Boom, 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 boom.
And here he is right now.
Do
I
you
filmed a
really
little
wanna
bit.
hurt me? Now, here's the deal. I went to the Hollywood Bowl last summer and saw him perform live with a group of
Mm,
people, and he
mm,
was pretty plumpy.
mm,
He was a large oompa loompa, and he was self-deprecating, and he had great comedic timing.
mm,
I thought he was hysterical, and I was with a group of people that were not. They were really into more of the songs, and I'm like, he's doing this
mm,
patter in between that is so funny. How come you guys aren't laughing? They thought he was like serious. I'm like, he's totally goofing around. So I
mm.
enjoyed the show. There was a group of people, and they got a bunch of tickets in the cheap seats, and they invited me and Bernadette, and we went. And we had a good time.
Yeah, he's very funny in between. I mean, an older gay man performer. He
Mhm.
knows what he's doing. He's hilarious.
Bro,
Somebody yelled out, "We love you" to the bass player, and the bass player's like, "Oh, thank you," and then he looked at George and goes, Someone just said I love you," and George goes, "Oh, there is one." He had good timing for that kind of thing. Little slap down, and then but he talked about lap band surgery. So I guess he's because he looked good. I mean, here a little video I shot right there. You can
oh, you
check
should. I
that
shot.
out.
Here's the
And
video before and after. This is the video that I shot
oh, you
last
got some
summer,
vid too. There you
and then
go.
here's the yeah. So like
Cool, man.
6 or 10 months later, whatever it was, maybe longer. 10 months later,
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
him in
but
the
he
fall.
good show. He did it last night. He did last night and he did tonight. And unlike Hall and Oates a couple of years ago, who did one show and wouldn't let the ship leave. They're like, they were supposed to sail, do two shows. They were like,
No,
no, we'll do one and we're getting the fuck off. So just keep this
wow,
thing docked. So we
wow.
stayed docked for the goddamn show at 10 o'clock. But then so he's done, and then when this ends, I go down, I do one show at 10:45, and then get up off this thing tomorrow morning, whatever time. Barcelona. How far? Do you remember airport to the ship? I don't even remember from a week ago. 20 minutes? 15 minutes?
No more
Something like
than a
that.
half. No more than half. I would say between 15 and a half. Sure.
Okay. Yeah,
Barcelona.
last week I jumped in a van with the rock band Phoenix. They were nice enough to give me a ride, so I didn't. And I was talking, so I didn't really notice how far or anything. But I'll
Yeah.
catch a cab tomorrow with Mr. Simeon and Simeon Kirkle. He's a hilarious comedian. He's flying Morocco Air. That's what
Where's he going?
to Morocco. He's on the road to Morocco. And we Googled Morocco Air. Anyone who want to have some fun, Google Morocco Air. Holy God.
Take
It
take
makes it
this.
makes it makes Spirit look like fucking
Well, they
top of the
have
line.
goats and chickens, and someone goes, "Take this bag. Don't ask questions. Just take this bag with
Yes.
you."
Yeah, there's a lot going on Morocco.
Is this
We'll put it on
explosives?
Patreon.
Get the bag, don't look. I'm sorry.
Al's Middle Eastern face. You really want to see it on the
take this-
Patreon,
Take
folks.
this to the airport. Don't ask questions.
I remember like early days of cruising. I used to do that as a bit where, they ask you, did you, whatever it was, pack the bag yourself, any guns, and then I would go, yes. I mean, no, no, God, I'm the worst terrorist of all time. And they said the word terrorism, and it was a welcome aboard show. I mean, imagine it was all offensive and weird, but it was a different time.
It was a different time.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
I don't know if you have a trip coming back up here, but this was, I don't like the flying part. Obviously, it sucks, but a nice break from the usual Caribbean and just, to be in Spain and Italy and
Well, you were posting
bop
some
around.
amazing pictures, and I wanted to ask you about them because you had texted me. You said, "Hey, can you make any recommendations of restaurants or places to go or things to see?" And I'm like, "Just walk off the ship, walk around,
Yep.
find a place that you looks inviting, sit down. 9 out of 10 times, you're going to get a great meal and for a reasonable price." And
The prices were unbelievably reasonable. I was really stunned by it, actually. You know what I mean? Where these cappuccinos are like out of this world, and they're $2,
yeah, instead of
€2.
six,
I mean,
$7 now in the
for
States.
shitty Starbucks with a cup of foam, air foam, and this is like artwork. Yeah, man, it was unbelievable. And then these croissants. I ordered this croissant. It just looked good, and then I bite into it, and it's just full of jelly and all this
Yeah.
rich. Oh, it was incredible, incredible. So
Yeah,
I mean, the
I just feel like
pizza,
they're more in
all of it.
touch with the earth. They
Yep.
don't have a lot of the chemicals, the GMOs, and all that. And it's not as manufactured. It feels more like it's farm to table. I know that's a line they've been using for the last
No,
five,
it does.
10 years.
There is something to that, obviously. Like I had a big pizza, and I ate the whole pizza,
The
walked
whole
away.
thing. I
The whole
can't
thing. You
believe I
ate it, Al.
ate the whole thing.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
You ate it.
You ate it, Al. But I didn't feel full or bloated. I was like, oh, I can go walk now. I mean, it was light because it was real mozzarella, like the really
Oh,
great mozzarella, plum tomatoes that are just like literally picked off, the vine. And the pizza, the crust was so light and thin and tremendous, tremendous.
yeah,
And
the photo
I think it was
you
11 euros. You know what I mean? Where
right. Wow.
fucking local pizza in
Oh my
Clearwater,
God.
is $33.
My friend ordered, I told you this, he ordered one last month, delivered. It was like $36 plus tip. It was a pizza, and there
Yeah,
were
it's
four of
stupid.
us men, and it
Yeah.
wasn't big. And I'm like, what the fuck? It had two toppings
Yeah.
on it.
And you
Oh,
ordered coffees and things. They don't have an iPad and turn it around with a tip button, and
no.
they don't even care. Like I got one place I had coffee and a croissant, and I was trying to pay the guy, and he was like, he didn't give a shit. He kept walking around doing other things. I'm like, sir, I got like to. And he's like, oh yeah, five euro, five.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh,
It wasn't like get up, get out. We need the seats. It was just like,
no,
yeah.
stay there all day. We
Yeah.
don't care,
I
And it
love
was so
that culture.
picturesque.
Just like, hey, relax. Just
Yep,
enjoy the time, the moment.
yep. Did you see
Wow.
Tuscany is paying people to move there, and the homes they're building, the prices, you can't beat it. And it's
Well, here's the thing. It's cheap
Yeah.
to Americans because it's so expensive here now, but
Right.
it's actually very expensive for the Italians because they're
Yeah,
not
but
used to it. They're used to the $80,000 5-acre olive grove, and all of a sudden now it's 200,000 or whatever. And,
Well, this was
you and I are like, that's
it's like
nothing.
1,400 square foot homes being built for 169.
That's great. That's
That's
new
great.
build. That's new build. Yeah,
New
that's
build, but
great.
I told Kelly, I go, let's move. I'll jump on the Oasis every 2 weeks, and let's live here. Fuck this. What are we doing? I mean,
Well,
it's funny.
everybody's been saying that because of the election coming up, and after
Well, I don't care about the election.
Biden's debate the other night, Biden Trump's debate. Oh my God.
Well,
I
I
haven't even
mean,
seen the whole thing. I've just seen clips of it, and it's just
there's no
whoa,
reason to see the whole
wow,
thing. I
oh,
mean,
yeah, ah. I
we
mean,
get it.
Biden alone just he bombed terribly, and then just they both seem like they're disconnected and having arguments about who had a better golf score or something. I'm only
Yeah.
getting
Well, if there
clips.
was a young, vibrant guy, Trump would look like a doddering fool because he is old and he does fuck up. But compared to that corpse they put up at the
Oh my
podium,
God.
Trump looks like he's 45 and has his shit together. So, I mean, what can
Yeah. No,
I mean, really, that was as bad as we've ever seen as America. I mean, that guy was, and it's elder abuse at this point. It's very sad. He shouldn't be up there.
no.
I mean, like, that's
He
just
shouldn't be
terrible.
running the most powerful country in the world. Well, let's face it, it's the people
He's
around
not
him.
running it. He's not running anything.
He's the figurehead. He should not be the figurehead.
No,
He's a bad representation of it.
no, and did you see
And I'm
after
going to tell you
the
something right
video?
now.
Yes, sir.
He's been like that for a while. This is not
Yeah,
new. And I was over at my friend's house, and we're all up
Bill Burr.
doing the cookout. No, we're having the cookout, and I'm like, this is a year and a half ago. I go, guys, Biden is he's rapidly going down. I mean, he was a little iffy to begin with. I go, and like, no, stop it. He's got it all together cognitively up in his
Well,
brain.
you and your liberal friends, you can think what you want, but he's not. He's gone. He's gone. He's not going to be there. I don't think they. I think the convention they're going to pull some shit. Old Joe's going to step aside for the best of the country, and they'll throw maybe your shitty governor in there. That fucker.
You're throwing it all on me. Here I am. I'm trying to tell you the story of these
Well, I hear
Democrats.
you with
Not
your liberal friends.
well. Now
You
you're
know.
saying that they're liberal, which is supposed to be left of Democrat, and I'm just telling you the Democrat
All right.
contingent I was with. I started to tell them like he's really rapidly going downhill, and they were super defensive about it. I'm like, who are you lying to yourself? Or do you not see it? Or are you just embarrassed to go against it? You can't because it's so blatant now.
These,
And
but nobody
it's
can.
been blatant for a couple of years, let's be
Right. But
honest.
those people cannot, with a straight
They will
face,
not
honestly
budge.
say they can't honestly say he's their guy and he's good for the country, and you can't say that.
More of them are saying this, which is true. Look at our choices. Neither
All
one
right.
of them. Now they're doing that. I
Right.
go,
Which I agree with.
I do too, but you weren't when you knew your guy was falling. You're talking to me in private. We're not
Yeah.
online, and I'm saying, let's be honest now. And you're still like trying to reinforce your fake belief of this is the guy. I was like, no.
Yeah.
So
No.
is Newsom going to come out with his cape and go ta-da? Or is
Yeah, but
or
he
is
sucks. He's terrible. He killed California's the fucking disaster. But I don't understand why. Why? Because he looks good. I mean, who is he?
I don't know. You brought his name up. You brought his
Well, no,
name
I
up.
read that he's the guy they're looking at, and he's one of their top Democratic guys they think could be. Because he
Right,
looks like
but they
he
were
looks
talking
like a
about
good.
they were talking 4 years from now. Are they going to try to move that up because
Yeah,
Biden is just collapsing?
yeah. The New York Times came out yesterday, and they're as liberal as they get, and they said he's got to step down for the good of the country.
Well,
Can't
they're
run
as
again.
liberal as they get until recently because now they're backpedaling because they used to be a reputable
Yeah,
newspaper until
long
the
time
last
ago.
like 10 years or so. It's just like,
All the news that's fit to print
ugh.
was once their slogan,
Mm.
but that's long, long gone.
Well, the digital
But anyway,
age and social media.
Anyway, this is a unique podcast for us. We're on a
not political.
9. No, we're not, and as you can just hear us, and we have a 9-hour time difference, and the Zoom is holding up so far so well. Knock on wood. But yeah, 9-hour time diff. I think that's the most we've done in our podcasting.
So
career.
I didn't podcast with you last year when I was in Europe with a 9-hour difference. I think
Yeah, but I
you're the
wasn't
nine.
in it. But I wasn't in LA, West Coast. I was 6 hours
Oh, okay.
East Coast.
I
So
stand
we're adding
corrected.
another 3, so 9.
Yeah, that's a
Pretty
lot.
good. That's pretty good.
The technology is holding up well, actually. You're floating around the Med, and I'm stationary, in Studio
Yeah,
City.
it looks sounds pretty clear. I like the 6 hour time diff though. It's kind of fun. Like when I'm done with work and I mean like getting ready to go to sleep, I can call Kelly and she's it's 6 o'clock there or whatever. You know what I mean? 6:30. Whereas what's all the time she goes to sleep, I can't talk to her at night. I'm doing a show. So I kind of like the 6 hours in some ways. But I
Gotcha.
never really caught up. I think all week I've been sort of just I didn't really catch up or what do you call it? Get
Make it
acclimated.
acclimated to the time difference. Your jet lag
Yeah.
still?
I don't know. I mean, I just like I was out in like say Naples or Rome and Barcelona and then I'd be like, I'll get some wine. I'm going to drink some wine.
Mhm.
But in my head, I was like, it felt like 10 in the morning when it was 4 in the afternoon. So it wasn't appealing. I was just drinking coffees. I wanted those
Ah,
coffees,
see,
and I didn't feel it.
when the food comes, I feel it because I look
Yeah.
at a nice pizza or a pasta, and I'm like, I want a glass of wine, whether it's white wine or red wine. I tend to drink
Mm,
the reds with dinner, and I'll do a white for lunch.
yeah.
But yeah, I adjust quickly for that because I crave it.
Got to
But
throw it
it's
out.
hard.
Why
You did have shows every night though. That's when I was
shows
on
every night?
Celebrity, I had 2, 3 nights tops that I was performing, so I had the rest of the time.
Oh, they should have had us much more. I mean, it was a ridiculous schedule because so many people don't speak English here. A lot of the Americans didn't fly over for the
Hmm.
president's cruise,
Right.
so they sold it to
Yes.
the Europeans, and so we had shows. We had 3 show nights. The 11:30 show, we might have had 45 people in that club, and
Ooh,
they were
that's
great
rough.
because they were Americans and they
Sure,
were
but
they were
and they were
into it,
happy
but
to, yeah, but still,
it's not
that's not
easy.
a lot.
It's not a lot, and your quote unquote boss is standing there in the corner watching. It's like, oh, but this guy was funny. What happened?
And again, you
But
said you're auditioning for the job
my
that you already
job,
got. Multiple
really,
times you have proven yourself, hence you're on the president's cruise, and yet you feel the
you
pressure.
always and just go. What are we doing here? But yeah, it was all
What
good. One
was
more
Agata with you
tonight.
too?
Yeah, yep. Paul's here,
Wow.
and then he goes home and starts 2 months at
Back
New
at
York, New York. It,
Cirque
yeah,
Soleil, right?
Mad Apple
Mad Apple. That's what it is.
comes out of the floor, does 10 minutes crowd work, and then goes back down into the hole twice a night.
That's a sweet gig.
There's none sweeter, sir. I
And he's
believe it's
being
the
he's
sweetest
being paid well
gig.
from what I understand. So that's
It's a
great.
sweet
And he's doing
that
two
that
months
one.
there. Didn't he do 4 prior?
I don't know how much he did. He was gone a month or so. He'll be gone July and August, and then I believe he also will be gone November, December.
So
So,
he just tells his agent, "Hey, I got this other gig, just replace me." And that's a done deal.
hmm
There's no hemming and
hmm
hawing, no pushing back.
no.
I get pushback.
Well, he's a loved one. I don't know
Oh,
what to tell you.
you can't change. Once they lock these in, they don't like it. They don't like it when you change it. And I'm like, and
Well,
they had conditioned
he
me
doesn't
to
have an
like,
agent. He's going direct, and he's just dealing with them direct. These agents are afraid of losing their
yeah,
little commish.
yeah.
So they
Sometimes I
they
tell them, like,
and
I got to take this gig. I'll still pay you the commish just to, I go, if you can't replace me with one of your clients,
well,
I'll pay the commission you're losing. And
but
they always get one of their clients. They're not missing any money.
that's right, of course. So but they like to say that. Oh,
And I
I
make
used to
that
hear that for
offer knowing that
years.
if they ever accepted it, I would be pissed.
Oh, I would never make that offer, but
Well, it's a
they always
chess
they always
game.
have
It's
that.
I'm testing their, you know.
Right. You're playing
I,
chess. They're playing
well,
checkers.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I paid you commissions for a decade. Let's do the math on that.
Yeah. That's why I don't feel bad. I'm like, are you kidding? The amount of money you've made from me over the years for literally copying, pasting something,
I do
forget it. I
like
don't.
I do like that little I'm not paying a higher percentage. Like some of the new people that are coming in now are paying a higher commission, and I'm not. So I'm with the level of organization I get from it, I'm happy to pay it.
Okay. Well, as long as you're happy to pay it, that's
Hmm.
that's good.
As long as I'm
Yeah,
getting
what
that
the
in
hell?
return. And
Right.
if it's less, then I can, say it's less. If I say something and they don't respond, then it diminishes the worth of it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's still holding
I get it. I
for
get it.
me. But that's an
I understand.
individual thing. That's an
Yeah,
individual.
man. I understand. I was FaceTiming last night. I did 3 shows, and then this guy who's this open bar, which I think you had mentioned you were possibly going to do one.
Mhm.
I did, I did one, and I did a second one, which is a crowd work special,
Mhm.
and it was 2 shows, and there's a lot of edits, obviously, because every time I went into a bit, I wanted to be cut, and I just wanted to be all crowd work. And the guy editing it, nice guy, but he was confused by my notes because it's like, you know, time frame, like kind of the way I send you if I find a clip for our podcast. You have the bit and the time, or the time and the bit, whatever. So we're texting, and he kept saying like, "I'm not really understanding what you're talking about here. Can we talk?" So I'm like, "Well, I got a 6 hour time difference, but if you want to talk tonight, I can do it." And then so I ended the 3 shows last night, came to the room, and then we FaceTimed, and he was in front of his computer show, and it was like, I mean, I don't know what I said yes to half the time. It was like I was trying to follow it, and he's showing me clips and lines, and I'm like, he goes, "Do you want to save this thing here?" And I'm like, "I guess I really can't see it, so I'm thinking, yes, save it. No, not don't save that." And not easy, man,
It's
not
hard.
easy.
You got to. It's so much easier in person.
Editing via Zoom, I mean,
Yeah, in person is
FaceTime.
sitting next to somebody. Even sitting next to
Oof.
somebody, you can like say what you're saying in your brain, but conveying it to someone who's editing, there's a little bit of a,
Mm-hmm.
language barrier, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, it was difficult, but seemed to have gotten it. And then I was afraid, like, I would end a joke looking to the left, or a crowd work thing, looking to the left, and then the next one I might be looking to the right. I don't want it to look like a jump cut. But he was showing me, he goes, "We got crowd reactions. I can put
Yeah,
something like that in. I got overhead. He goes, I got
yeah,
all these clips I could
yeah.
throw
You,
in there.
you can
So,
do one where you can't see your lips. You could be saying something else. They do that with the news all the time when they're interviewing people. They show and they're asking them something else, but for editing purposes, they
oh,
use
right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully
So,
we'll
or a
see. I don't know.
microphone in front of your mouth, that's another one. Just to grab that one word.
Well, what I did was, and he was like thanking me for it. He goes, and I did it on purpose. When I did end of a crowd work where I thought it was going to end, I lifted the mic stand and put it down. So I was doing that. So that was like a cut line for him.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
mm,
So I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. And then I go, and then I would start a joke that I don't want on the special. So he
mm.
was like, "Oh, wait," he goes, "You seem to be lifting the mic stand like at the right moment." I go, "Yeah, yeah. When I'm done with it, I was kind of giving you a little clue. I didn't do it all the time, but I did it a bunch. So we'll see. That comes out supposedly July 10th on YouTube.
Check it out,
And
folks. When it does come out, I'll obviously post a link to all of this stuff.
yeah,
All right. So, how long before your show? Do you have to start getting ready, or what?
it looks like I'm within the hour. I got 1 hour, but I'm ready to roll. And I'm out of cigars. The cruise is over. I'm out of cigars.
Is that
It's
how you,
time to go
is that how
home.
you measure it?
That's how I do
Did
it.
you buy any on land this time, or you just went through your supply?
No, there was nothing. Europe for cigars. I guess I don't know where to go, but when I do find like liquor stores and tobacco stores, they just seem to be cigarettes, and then some no name cigars in a
Yeah,
jar, like in a
yeah, yeah. It's
like
not
a
that big of a thing.
no,
Yeah,
no. I don't know why. I mean,
cigar
Europeans
lounges.
they're all smoking cigarettes. You'd think they'd move on to cigars. I mean, incredible amount of cigarettes going on
It's
out
not
there.
a thing right now. Old fashions and cigars are all the rage in the States.
Yeah, well,
It's not
cigars have
me.
been around, and old fashions really hit with Mad Men and that kind of, and
Yeah,
that's a
but they
long time
really came
ago.
out. Didn't they come out in like the 50s?
Oh
The
yeah,
original old
oh they've been
fashioned
around forever. I'm
40s,
saying the
50s.
popularity Mad
Yeah.
Men was sort of, and then cigars, I don't know what the kickstart was again, because it went from like Archie Bunker and Columbo, those just the cheap stick,
Excuse me.
whatever.
Pardon me. That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
that was pretty good. The they were all cheap, $2 cigars. I don't know what kicked it into being a high end thing with lounges and that kind of thing. I don't
Yeah,
know what the awakening was.
I remember when we were in college, we'd buy the worst ones, the owl. What was the owl cigars?
White Owl.
White owl. We'd buy them like a pack of four,
Yeah.
five, and they were just awful.
Terrible.
And then we started getting into the flavored ones like strawberry and
Oh,
they were
yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
disgusting.
That's still the worst. I mean, they're still
They still
terrible.
sell them.
These flavored acid cigars and all that kind of crap, Kentucky Fire, and it's garbage. But whatever people like. But no, I ran out and that was it. And so I'm done. That's always my count. I'm like, all right, time to go home. No more cigars.
It's time for Al to go home. Well, we made this
And I gotta
happen.
close tonight. I gotta close the goddamn show tonight
Ooh,
in the theater.
You got to follow the two heavy hitters in the
In the
theater.
theater too, yeah.
And then
With the small crowd.
a
It'll be a small
10:45 show. Why?
and we
Why
leave
not?
tomorrow.
Why not
I don't know.
9:30?
It's a good question. Good question.
What
I'd
time
like
do
to
you
know
hit the
the answer.
stage?
I will hit the stage at 11:15ish. Yeah. Because it's only 15 minutes.
It's
So,
going to be awful. It's going to not as
wow.
bad as
Thanks.
Biden's
Thanks, man.
debate,
Appreciate
but
it.
it's going to
Thank
be
you.
awful.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not going to give you. No, I want you to expect it to be awful, and then if it's ever slightly better than that, then you'd be like, "Hey, it wasn't that bad." I'm using
Yeah.
your psychology, pal.
I see. Well, but we're always wrong. Comics are always wrong with guessing. Like you try to see the crowd come in, you go, "Oh, they're going to suck. They suck," and they're great. Or if the crowd's hot, it's going to be great. It's hot.
Just, oh my God, there's so much energy in here, and it's just like mediocre.
Terrible. We're all terrible at reading it, but when you have a theater not full or half full, scattered, even if it's good, it's not.
And some of them
It's
really don't have a handle on English, and they come
No.
to kind of like curiosity, and then 5 minutes in, they just all get up like a family, and then they leave.
Yeah. And then the other night we had one of those, the worst kind of heckler where I think something was wrong with the guy. Plus he was drunk, but he just wanted to make a point. So every time there was a pause, he would go, "Let's go, Brandon."
Ugh.
And it's like, dude, don't do that. I was on stage. I'm like, don't do that. I'm not going there. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to hear it. And then he was like, and then I would say something else. He goes, "Epstein's plane."
Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with I mean,
know.
it was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I've been hearing the Biden, "Let's go, Brandon." I've been hearing Trump, I've been hearing that. Just like it doesn't even fit what I'm talking about or anything.
No, you're talking about Star Wars, and the guy's going, Trump. It's like,
I've had a guy, he heckled in my favor. He liked the bit and he heckled. I go, "Oh, thank you very much." And then I go, "What's your name?" And he goes, "So and so." And I go, "Where are you from?" He goes, "Trump," like this with his arms up. I'm like, what does that have to do with the banter that? All right, I don't get it.
Yeah. And, in a club, I would be like, shut the fuck up or whatever. But it's a cruise, a little different. And I thought, is this guy retarded? I mean, maybe he is, because the crowd is booing him. They're like, shut up. And he was saying things like that constantly. Then he left. When I ended, he left. And 2 nights later, some people came back to the show and they came up to me and they go, "Hey, that guy." I go, "Oh, that, yeah." They go, He's been that way at every event. Like everything we're doing, he's doing that. And he said something to a girl who works on the ship, like very kind of offensive to her. So I'm like, throw the guy out of here. Let's go. Bounce him off the ship.
Have security take him down, saying, "We're going to put you off at the next port if you don't behave yourself."
Yeah. Just, I mean, I don't care. You want to heckle or you want to do something where I can back and forth with you? I'm there for
But
it.
incoherent, out of place.
Political shit.
By the way, I don't condone anybody heckling a comedian.
No, well, no, of course not. And I don't know why people think friends, you ever get friends that go, "I'm going to be there. I'm going to come see you. I'm going to heckle." It's like, what? That's like the
Some of them
weirdest
mean
thing.
it.
Why
Some of
would
them
you
mean
say
it.
that though? Why though? Like, what's the point of that? I don't go see a guy playing a guitar and be like, I'm gonna throw things at your guitar and try to break a string. Like comedy for some reason.
I
It
don't know.
invite, I'm gonna heckle.
I remember a comedian's brother came, sat in the front row, got drunk, and then heckled him. And it was like this whole family. The family was going, "Stop it! Stop it!" They're trying to drag him out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. And then I also hate when people say, don't sit in the front, the comedian will heckle you. It's like you don't even know what the word heckle means. So you don't get to use it.
Mhm.
We don't heckle you, you heckle us. And don't heckle. It's the dumbest thing that you can do. And there's enough guys doing crowd work. You don't need to heckle anymore. If you want to be talked to, you'll be spoken to.
That's the
You know,
wave, crowd work.
it is. I
That's
mean,
what Todd
I
Barry
get it.
started that like 12 years ago.
Yeah, well, he did
That was the name of his special.
a couple of guys like Jimmy Pardo has done it his whole career. He's just crowd work,
Mhm.
But there's a few. But yeah, Todd Barry really had a special and all that. I mean, it's the crowd loves it, and it's a great way to not burn your act. I get it, but you got all these purist comedians now, very
Whatever
upset.
works.
They think the
Whatever
crowds
works.
are turning and
There
getting
was a time
weird.
when they said if you're a stand-up comedian, you have to be a monologist. You got to stand in front of the microphone. No
Hmm.
movement. That's not stand-up comedy. Like,
Hmm.
who are you? Who are you making up these rules? How about
Yeah,
being a comedian and making people laugh? What about that?
right. Yeah. I worked with Dennis Miller early on, and I didn't do any crowd work at all. And he told me, he's like, if I see a comic doing crowd work, that means I'm looking at a comic who doesn't have his shit together. And I was like, yeah, I agree. And then I would see a Jimmy Pardo or somebody be like, what the fuck? Dennis Miller doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's great.
Mhm.
So I mean, what's the comedian's job? Make you laugh. So I don't care if however you're laughing,
Mhm.
he did his job. He did it well.
Yeah,
You know
when
what I mean?
back in the day when you used to wear the chaps, when you wore chaps on the
Yeah.
stage
Yeah.
and
Well,
a jock
late
strap.
80s.
Yeah, late
Well,
80s.
yeah. What about those
You
days?
should bring that back.
Well, it was more of a character. I don't know if that would pass muster on the old icon of the seas. So,
I was this
oh
close to getting
yeah,
cast in the Al Pacino movie Cruising.
wow. Someone just brought that movie up the other day. Who was it? Somebody
Oh wow.
mentioned it. I never saw it. I don't. I remember it being a big deal when it came out. I guess it was kind of anti-gay or something. And I remember the gays were up in arms about that movie
Well,
Cruising.
yeah,
But
the gist was he was going undercover in the gay
Alice saw it, of
community.
course. Well, yes,
I did see it.
I know.
I did see it. Matter of
Opening
fact,
night.
every birthday I have it going. Not just my birthday.
But just every birthday.
Any birthday.
What was I mean, Pacino's is he undercover or something, or is he gay? Like, give me
He
the
goes
premise.
undercover and like the actor he is, or used to be anyways, immersed himself into the scene to be believable. I'm trying to remember this. This is from the 80s when I saw it, and I was working in a video store. Um, so I was exaggerating about watching it on my birthday.
Right. We got
And
that.
I believe it was ambiguous at the end. You didn't know if he went all the way.
Was he undercover?
Yeah,
Is he a cop or something,
he
or a
was a cop
reporter?
undercover. If I remember correctly, a cop
I thought he was
undercover
a
in the game.
reporter doing a
Oh,
story about the
see,
gay.
maybe that's what it was, and I'm
I don't think
mixing
you've
up
seen
my
it.
movies.
I don't think you've seen it. I think you
Well,
saw a Tom Cruise movie and you
oh,
thought
maybe
that
that's
was
what
it.
it was. Tom
Yeah.
Cruising.
Yeah. That was in the back behind the curtain. You know, certain gentlemen would ask for that area and then you let them in.
Do we have
Remember
any
those days?
questions?
No, no questions. We struck out with questions
All
today.
right, so we're going to wrap it up here because I know that you have a show and then you have to do an arduous travel. And thanks for making the effort overseas.
When are you traveling again?
I'm home for a week and
Ooh,
then I
a week.
leave on July 6th. So this will be shown Monday. And then July 6th, I will head out.
Plans for the 4th? What are you and
Uh,
Bernie up to? You got some fireworks, you got a couple of hamburgers, you're got a
well,
keg, maybe a pizza.
I'll be doing what I used to do. I light bottle rockets out of my anus and fire them
Uh-huh.
off.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a
Yeah,
while.
that'll be good.
Since my birthday.
Now that's the Patreon. Get on the Patreon, folks. That is well worth your $5. Do you have 4th plans, or do you just
No.
play it
I'm
by
going to lay
ear?
low here. Bernadette is actually out of town, so I'm going to be
Out of town.
I'm going to be hanging out with some friends, and I'm
God
doing
damn.
bachelor time again. And then I will
You got it
join
made.
I will join the Harmony of the Seas for 2 weeks out of Galveston, Texas.
Yeehaw.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm home Monday, and then I'm on Icon July 6th. Is that Saturday?
That's sad. A week from today. We're recording today. Yeah.
A week from today, I'll be on Icon. Yeah.
I thought you were going to be home for 2 weeks.
No, just a week, because this would have been my week off after got split up because I came here, did this, so I'm going on Icon on the 6th.
Well,
you
better take your girl out for a fun time, pal.
Well, and then she's going. I'm only doing 1 week on Icon
because
her uncle passed away a few weeks ago, and the family's having this service July 13th, I think. So memorial. So she's going to fly to Michigan, and then I'll be home with old Teddy Boy. Got to watch the boy. So
Teddy Boy
boys,
Floyd.
Me and Teddy hanging out. Couple days.
I used to do that with Buddy and even Jasper, our cat Jasper. But I did that with Buddy many times. It was just the boys for the weekend or whatever, and 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be nice. And then the rest of that week, and then back on Icon and the rest of the year. I think that's pretty much
2 on, 2 off. 2 on, 2 off. Wax on, wax off. 2 on, 2 off.
There you go.
Adios.
Well done. Peace.
So long, Mel. Have a good trip. F*** you.
Iceberg, dead. Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The2Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the 2 Owls, 1 Pod podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What? Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Go to patreon.com/forwardthe2dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.